Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Up! Sorry, we'll have to stop this.
Yes. Please.
Hello, welcome to the program. It was, believe me, Nip and Tuck.
Oh, that was the television show about
about plastic surgery. But doesn't Nip and Tuck mean, it wasn't
yes,
certain whether I was going to be saying hello to you at the beginning of the program. I had texted Jess and Tom that Tom might have to
and I was preparing.
take over. Did I dash when I
you dashed
through dash through the door and dashed your dreams.
What's that famous movie where Janet Gaynor goes on and Adolphe Menjou says, "Go out and be a star."
Oh, it's the remake from
the first one.
The first one. What is that? Where the husband is an old
drunkard.
Old drunkard.
Claude Rains, I think, was the first one.
No, I don't think it was Claude Rains.
Someone like this, one very grand.
Somebody like Claude Rains.
No, I mean one of very
Nobody's
grand
like Claude Rains.
Well, that's
very
true, too.
unusual. And the second one was Judy Garland and the guy who played in Lolita. Why am I blanking? George.
Malkovich?
No. Oh, he wasn't even born.
No.
Readers, call us up. You know what we're talking about.
Who starred in those two movies whose name we cannot...
A Star is Born is the movie.
Yeah! A Star is Born.
And then they made a third one, didn't they, with...
Mason.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Is it George Mason?
No, not George Mason.
Oh, that's a university. Who?
That's right.
Signed the Declaration of
they made
Independence.
the third one, I think, with Barbara Streisand and then that hairy guy who sings.
The hairy guy who sings.
This is such a weird... we're speaking
the
in
hairy guy
hieroglyph.
who sings. What the hell?
No, not Bruce Springsteen. He doesn't.
Oh, for God's sake. All right, stop it. And welcome to Doddering Old People trying to remember names.
Crappy movies.
Yes.
Or not so crappy movies.
Oh. I was telling Jess, I think I have a certain amount of face blindness.
What do you mean? Oh, in other words, really? Huh?
I do. I think I always have, but I think it's getting more pronounced.
Huh.
Because I've always had trouble recognizing people. I can have dinner with you.
Really?
Seriously.
And have engaged and chatted?
Engaged and had fun, and then bump into you even 2 days later. And
really?
I
Wow,
don't
how funny.
know you. There's a vague sense in my head that I know you. It happened to me the other night. I had a marvelous dinner with somebody in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Part of a larger party,
You're across the table, yeah.
Then I see her at an event on Sunday night here, and I smiled at her, and she smiled, and she starts talking very, like we're best of friends.
Right.
And I really didn't know that I knew her. And she was even wearing a name tag, and I looked at the tag, and I didn't recognize the name either.
Oh God.
And but it was
and the
only
worst thing
later.
Is that when someone comes up and you say,
God, it was.
Oh, do you know Helen
Well,
Keller?
that happens to me every day. It happens to me every day. And you know what? It's so awful because you know that it's misinterpreted.
That you didn't care.
That I'm a jerk, a total bitch who's like, too above it all to remember you. And this is something that's plagued me all my life. It's getting worse.
Bunny Mellon would never have forgotten.
No, Bunny Mellon would not have forgotten.
While she was planting her plans.
You know what? I was, did you see the rundown of what her will?
No, I didn't read that.
Oh my God almighty. If you have that much stuff, would that will have been like 7,000 pages long? Because she got into specifics. The porcupine pin with the encrusted this and that's to this one. Well, do you know how many pins she has, or how many
more than Madeleine Albright?
I mean, she was handing out bowls. How many? She had 7 households.
Yeah, right.
So what would you could have spent a lifetime making up that.
Well, she probably did. Which is on one level quite nice.
Here, Bunny Mellon.
To say, I would like Lynn to be remembered, and she once admired the candlestick.
Okay, to make it very, bequeathed, I will bequeath my important, this is what's obnoxious, my important architect's table presently in my Paris apartment to Mr. Givenchy. Now, why would the will say my important? Did she have maybe she had an unimportant architect's table or two?
And in Tuscaloosa.
But it goes on and on. My French box depicting scenes of France in a green leather case will go to the Lambert Foundation.
Well, let's put it this way. Number one, this probably was all done in her latter years, and she was 103.
Well, her latter years have lasted for 20 years. I know. She had plenty of time to do this.
So she was an elderly lady. Right. Secondly, she did live in a very rarefied world. I mean, she did quite a lot of things, and her taste, from pictures I've seen, I've never been invited to her home.
Was good.
Was very, very good.
Yes.
And I think she knew who she was.
Listen, I'm sorry. I just saw a line. How would you like... This is one of those classic ones. They're reading the will. I wonder if this guy,
schwitzed.
Her stepson.
Okay.
Timothy Mellon, her husband's son, was bequeathed a porcelain cabbage.
Because he always liked
and to my beloved stepson, my porcelain cabbage. Jeez. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, I was going to say she lived a very special life, surrounded by very special people. And, I mean, you see a little bit of, I think, the sort of negative side, if one wants to call it that, in her gaffe, if that's the right word, of giving all that money and attention.
To John Edwards? No, but she made...
but she said he was a very charming. So obviously...
She just had, she still appreciated a good-looking man.
Well, in that world, someone who probably sucked up to her to be less than delicate about it.
Absolutely. Unleashed all of his southern charm.
Yeah, exactly.
On her. And that's what he always had going for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people saw that it was too well oiled.
Yeah. Well,
and others...
Who thinks of John Edwards nowadays?
No one.
So,
okay.
I mean, the thing is, I guess you say in this day and age, and I respect all those things she did, but, you want to think, wouldn't it be lovely if she had just said, and all of my cabbages and whatever and leather original French desks should be liquidated and the money should go to cancer research.
Yeah, or feeding poor children. And see, this is what I hate about the ultra rich. All they do is give their money to other ultra rich and foundations that cater to ultra rich and these cultural organizations when people are starving.
Now, come on, that's not true. Look what Bill Gates is doing, Bill and Melinda Gates.
Well, yeah, I know. But for every Bill Gates, I'll give you 5,000 bunnies.
But she was a woman of another time. And she herself, I didn't realize this until I read the obituary a few days ago. She herself came from wealth. Because I can't remember what it was that her father created.
Excuse me. I remember what it was.
Oh, just tell me.
Bunny Mellon never knew a day where she had bad breath.
Oh, yes, Listerine. That's right.
She's the Listerine Heiress.
Oh, I'd like to be the Listerine Heiress. Don't knock it.
The Listerine Heiress who married the Mellon banking heir.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you, that was a match for the A-list, was it not? But so he grew up right around the corner from me. Mm-hmm. And she didn't give 1 red cent to
Well, but
Pittsburgh.
he gave a lot of red cents to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right, all right.
Well, I mean, why should she?
I wonder who
life
she
was,
all right,
was
you're,
in Washington.
You're right. She should give it to poor people.
Oh, well,
that was
fair
in
enough.
Washington.
Fair enough.
I wonder who got her, quote, important large pearl flowers by Schlumberger, set in gold. I'm sorry. You can't. The rich have got to understand that those of us beneath them are, of course, going to ridicule and make fun of all of their
only you.
possessions.
Only you, darling.
And people who think it's because I'm envious, I'm not at all. I have more than enough.
Yeah.
More than enough myself. It's just this.
Well, our world was very
if-
circumscribed. I mean, the kind of people who were let in, for better or worse, were a very small coterie of like peoples.
Yeah.
And so, God bless her.
Yeah. All right.
But you ain't getting no table, no.
And then get
pearl,
this.
whatever they were.
She leaves to some woman who's taken care, or somebody who's taken care of all her households for 100 years. She leaves her like a carriage house or a hut on one of her properties to live in for the rest of that person's life. But
well, I'm sure it's not a hut, dear.
all right.
I'm sure it's quite nice.
By the way, hello. Don't think we did say hello. It's the first day of spring.
Well, it's snowing.
Yes, I did. There was a little bit of a snow
yes.
as I walked in. Nothing, so I call it dandruff snow. It's nothing. It doesn't amount to.
Well, I think it's the tears of Bunny Mellon knowing that you were going to lambast her.
Bunny Mellon would give me absolutely no thought whatsoever.
No, she'd leave you a book of etiquette.
And did you see this
and tell that rube, Lynn Cullen, I'm going to teach her how to be a lady.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, sorry. Bunny. What was her real name? Why did these women all have those stupid names, too? Bunny, give me some more.
Well, she could have
Flotsy.
been Chipmunk.
Tipsy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, what they're particularly bad about that is in the South. In the South, no one ever goes by their real names. It's very funny. I don't know if you've seen, there's a new show on Bravo, and it's called Southern Charms or some such title.
No.
And it's about Charleston. And it's one of these, like the youngerish and the dating, whatever.
The junior league set.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious. I mean, 3.5 years I spent in Norfolk, Virginia, which isn't really completely Southern. But there, too, as one of the people said, the first thing someone in the South will say when you tell them a story, they'll say, "Oh, God bless you. Oh, you blessed little thing." And then they'll turn around and, stab you in the back.
Yeah, right.
But it's dripping with gentility.
Right.
Dripping with gentility.
There's a definite structure of what, it's more like Japan in that respect. You bow, you do all the right things.
Not quite the same. But, Ray Martin is horrified because we're talking about Bunny Mellon, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. He could be horrified from something from yesterday. You never know.
Look, Ray, he's always smart. Where is he?
Listen. Tom, you're the incredible shrinking man, says Margaret.
Oh, dear.
Isn't he?
Well, I'm hoping to shrink more, Margaret. I mean, I can put you can put me in your ear.
You really have. Do you know how much weight
you've lost? 30 pounds, yeah.
Wow.
Through,
Do you feel better as a result of that, do you think? I mean, I know you've had other issues, but do you think? Do you feel lighter on your feet? Well, you've got to be light.
I'm just about ready to jeter out the window.
I mean, are your knees saying, "Oh, Tom,
no, I was never that heavy.
Oh no, but knees, ankles. We all
No,
they
that's
hold
true.
our
That's true.
weight.
No, Jake, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I feel particularly different.
Okay, you said you saw.
Yeah, somewhere, Ray, in the middle of you.
Ray is horrified. No, but this is from yesterday, so he was not horrified
I thought
about today.
Oh, I see.
He is horrified. Oh, I said, and I'm sure, yes. I thought that I remembered that if you were to drop a typewriter
And a feather.
out of this window, which one gets to the ground fastest?
I think that they both do.
Well, that's because you already read Ray's
I remember
thing.
that from high school.
Okay. But I couldn't quite remember because it seems like that wouldn't be
make
right.
any sense, but I guess it does.
But I thought that too, but I was asking and no.
What about if you drop a feather in Bunny Mellon?
Stop it.
She would just float up to heaven. She'd never land.
Gravity is a constant.
Someone's gonna kill us.
The horrified Ray says. Well, you went to Catholic schools, I bet, Ray. I went to Green Bay public schools. I don't know if we ever got to gravity. Every year, it didn't matter what it was, if it was second grade or if it was your sophomore year in high school, and you were studying American history, you always started with the same thing, the Pilgrims.
Oh, right.
I'm serious. Didn't you, year after year after year? And invariably, you never got anywhere up to the 20th century. Hello? Hello, caller?
So what is Ray saying, that they would fall at the same time?
Who, what? Yes, Ray is saying, barring wind resistance, all things fall the same. This was settled 500 years ago with Mr.
All things fall the same in a vacuum. But in an environment, they are affected by outside things like friction.
I don't think that's
true. They don't
true.
necessarily fall at the same. So if you live in a vacuum...
But we don't.
Things fall at the same rate.
Okay.
Unlike Bunny Mellon, we don't live in
Okay, so a basketball and a typewriter. 22nd floor. I'm throwing them off.
Well, given different exterior effects on it,
well,
it would more likely be that the typewriter would land first.
The heavier would land
the
first.
The heavier, or the one with less surface area would fall faster.
Yeah, well, that
because
surface area equals resistance.
Except I always remember this thing. I mean, it shows like the only thing you remember. But that saying, because the first thing you say, how can a feather not take forever?
Well, wasn't this Newton, right? I remember a picture in some school book with Newton sitting under a tree and an apple fell on his head, right? And then the typewriter fell on his head.
Yes, in 1693.
Yeah, that's a good line, Tom, about Bunny Mellon being in a vacuum.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Or vacuum packed.
Okay, here's someone else on gravity. Because I was asking people to help me, and nobody did at the time. And this is all, I knew this would come in later for maybe people listening on podcasts.
Was this due to the movie, or?
No.
Oh.
Who the hell knows? I can't remember why we were talking.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hey, let's give Ben a football made of feathers or a regular football, see how far he can throw it. What do you think of that?
Oh! Well, now that's interesting.
You're going to pick up resistance.
That's going horizontally instead of vertically. And obviously he can throw the football farther than a feather, but the football is more aerodynamic, right?
Well, that's true. You're too smart for me.
No, believe me, I'm not. And in fact, it sounds like we all flunked science.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know how you scare caterpillars?
I didn't think they were capable of being scared.
You just say boo.
All right,
I saw it on Outrageous Acts of Science.
Okay.
It's a true thing.
All right, you're out of here. You're out of here.
Now, see, that's something Bunny Mellon would have known because she was such a great guard there.
What about caterpillars? Yes.
They boo to them. Stay away from my roses.
Okay, Susie writes.
Yes.
I think you're getting confused with the old trick question. Which falls faster, a pound of feathers or a pound of bricks? Well, I get that. It's both a pound. Of course, a heavier book or typewriter would fall faster than something lighter. That's what I've thought. But, she says, in the feather brick trick question. They're both a pound, so they fall the same. To be fair, though, there's probably more science to your question involving mass or shape or something. A book being flat might catch the air. Yeah, it's not as aerodynamic. An apple being smooth and round wouldn't have a problem like that and would travel like a bullet. Maybe we are talking about aerodynamics, but what do I know, Susie? So, Susie, you sounded at the beginning like you knew a lot, and then you ended up with what do I know, which is a typical female problem.
Oh, let's not go back to that.
Well, but no, I'm not talking about menstruation.
No, either not.
Well,
no,
and
we
that's why I think of that as a female problem. Oh, okay. But then women are more self-effacing.
I would like someone to give a credential. I mean, she sounds very smart, but I like someone to say, I'm a professor of science at Carnegie Mellon University and
whatever. But Ray sounded so certain, and now everybody else is putting in caveats and stuff.
Yeah, right.
So, Jesus. Okay. Do we have anything else here that we're supposed to look at? Goodbye? Uh-oh.
Oh, wait.
Lynn, one question about the NASA report. Why NASA? The last time I heard NASA was in charge of space stuff. That aside, I do believe the report is logical, what the future holds. Anyway, the report helps convince me to go out and buy another gun. Who needs the NRA with the NASA report around?
I thought it was the NSA, not NASA.
No, I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Not that it matters, but we have been preparing for this for the past 10 years. Yes, I'm a much maligned and joked about prepper. Oh, you are? Wow, Chuck. I won't go into details about, so you're not kidding about the gun. I won't go into details about all the things we've done and are doing. Soon to be a former listener, Chuck, formerly, I think you mean, of Cuddy, because you're repairing soon to your bunker somewhere.
So what is a prepper? I don't know what that is.
A prepper is someone who thinks the chaos and sort of the crumbling of civilization is nigh.
Oh,
and so they're preparing
one of those people. Oh,
for it, and they're going to be ready, and they're going, and you are not, and if you come trying to get some of their food, they'll shoot you. So Chuck, so he's talking about this report, and NASA and the Goddard Space Station. Oh,
the real NASA.
Yeah, were tasked by some, I don't know what. So it was a bunch of scientists to look into issues about sustainability of the Earth, given our current consumption, population, climate change, all that kind of stuff. Right? And apparently this report that came out earlier in the week, which didn't get much publicity at all, doesn't help you sleep at night.
It's very dystopian.
It's extraordinarily says that civilizations crumble, and anyone who thinks that the advanced civilizations have all come crumbling down, and many of them very quickly, and often when at the height of their glories, and they even started mentioning some civilizations I never even heard
Well,
of.
you remember that poem, like, Ozymandias?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But what's interesting about that that was like this grand colossus, all that was left were the feet. No, it was very funny. Last night I watched, having a penchant for such things, the premiere of this show.
Penchant. He meant penchant.
But we were on the Bunny Mellon thing, so I used the French.
The penchant?
Yes. But anyway,
of watching bad television.
Bad television. And I watched the CW, which is always about prepubescent people. Anyway, but wait. And it was called The 100. And the reason I bring it up was, the premise was, is... like after some bombing, the world is all radioactive, and it's 100 some years after. And whoever was left has been out. Every country in the world has sent out a space station to save whatever people they could. And in the intervening years, the various stations have all combusted for all sorts of reasons. Now there's just one. And so they have to be very punitive. And what they do at the beginning of the show is they pick 100 people under 18, because if you do something wrong above 18, they just kill you, which is basically to weed people out so there's enough oxygen. But now they find out they only have enough oxygen for 6 months. So they send these 100 miscreant teenagers down to Earth. And the question is Earth now going to have had enough time to regenerate itself? And these kids land, and it's beautiful and green, and they see a baby deer, and the deer turns to them, and it has two faces. And but it's so interesting that, I mean, many shows, there's always been this notion of dystopian 1984.
Right, but we're more...
now it's like almost every show is
about the
every
end.
Book is
or
about
the aftermath of the end. That's true.
And it's about tomorrow,
even, so it is in our psyches. We sort of know it. We're sort of kind of looking over our shoulders, whether we acknowledge it or not. But the major institutions are asleep at the switch.
Yeah.
And the NASA report sort of said, I mean, it could even come... It's not like it happens like bang, all of a sudden, everything collapses. But they're saying that within decades is what the piece... Within decades, you could start seeing the kind of... and they said it was not only, it's overpopulation, overuse of natural resources, and more than that, it's the unequal distribution of these resources that'll take a civilization down.
Well, because we know how to stop ozone, recension and all these things. But on the other side are the shareholders of these various companies who do not want
to die rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Bunny Mellon.
So
but what is the point of your riches, rich ones, when you're dead? And if you take everybody else with you...
Even if you want to be so personal, it's just like Bunny Mellon's great-great-grandchildren. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's going to be your grandchildren or mine. Not going to be mine. But do we have a future for humanity? And how dystopian is it going to be?
Well, we'll find out. Some of us will, some of us will not, because we won't be here.
Dead, but...
Well, not if it's going to happen maybe in 20, 25 years.
Well, cryogenically, we'll both be in some space station, frozen. And can you imagine, like, 2146, they unfreeze us, and we'll be on a show again. Hi, let's sing a song from...
Jess, you're going to...
Well, Jess is young. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
She'll roll with the punches. Jess is a survivor.
That's true.
But get a gun anyway.
No. She'll have a gun which will be surgically implanted in her shoulder.
There you go.
So if someone, she'll just go, bam.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, listen.
Isn't life and the prospect of the future fabulous?
All right. I don't even know. What the hell? Half the show is gone, and we haven't talked about a damn thing.
We've talked about Bunny Mellon.
You brought her up. I wouldn't even go into it.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay.
We're taking a break.
All right.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
BergBargains.com is your best bet for great deals in the Berg. Log on today for exclusive bargains from your favorite local restaurants like Blue Line Grill, Atria's, and Verde. Plus discounts on tickets to Tammy Pescatelli at the Improv. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a pep talk that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You can improve your future. Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and for free classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Oh, boy. Okay. Hang on. I've got a mark that is not dealt with, and mark as well. Hello. So it's weird. This apparently it's going to be cold for another few weeks. Maybe
Over
even
a couple
3.
of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be a cold April.
Okay.
And then it's going to be a sweltering.
That's hellacious summer, yes. Well, that's what they've been saying, cold winters, hot summers.
This is what climate change is going to do to Pittsburgh. We're not getting a good
From
part of it.
witch's tit to hellacious.
Shit. So anyway, it says that this was the warmest, globally, the warmest, 8th warmest winter on record.
No, coldest, you mean? Not warm.
No, warmest. And here's where...
that can't be.
Excuse me. You man of the world. I said globally, this was the 8th warmest.
Okay.
We have the distinction.
North America, yeah.
And it's just part of North America. It is the upper Midwest, the Midwest and East, Northeast Atlantic.
No, but even Florida. They said 46
Well, I said
Atlantic.
Okay, the Atlantic. Whatever. It is us. Europe was extraordinarily warm.
Okay.
Austria, that has weather data going back a lot further than most people do, second warmest winter ever on
the
record.
Alps are melting.
And also Switzerland, Denmark, Netherlands. The Brits had a brutal winter.
Yeah, they did.
But they're on that island that is,
right in the middle of the North Sea.
Right, but the continental Europe, very, very warm. And it was the central and eastern U.S. that got hammered. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's where Washington, D.C. is. And so all of those idiot climate deniers in our Congress are like your initial reaction before you heard globally.
Yeah.
Oh, so much for your global warming. Look at this. There's a blizzard every hour here in Washington.
Right.
And they never look beyond their idiotic noses.
Yeah. Well, again, it's where money is. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Oh, that's what it's all about.
I mean,
so everyone,
no one would be against all the things about global warming if it didn't mean curtailing their gasoline usage, curtailing, all the other sort of nastinesses. I mean, fracking. There's nothing wrong with fracking, in my opinion, humble opinion, if you put all the safeguards in place. But of course, what we know is the minute they start doing it with abandon, all the safeguards won't be in place, and that's when you have, hermaphroditic fish in the Monongahela, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Money. It's all about money.
Well, that is true, but it'll take us down.
It will. Oh, no, of course it will take us down. What are K-cups?
What's a K-cup?
Coffee. It's for a Keurig.
It's for a
kid? A Keurig.
A Keurig? Is that a weight
machine?
Oh, no.
Like you get these little pods, these little cups. They look like bigger version of creamer cups. And you put them...
Oh, yes.
Oh, a bigger version. They brew one cup. They have these things now where you brew one cup of coffee. And Barbara has sent us something that said all of the K-cups sold in 2013 would wrap around the earth 10.5 times. Why are we
lazy to wash a mug?
Why are we creating... So much for environmental awareness.
Yeah. Well, because everyone's too lazy. They don't want to wash a porcelain mug. That's what it comes down to. So you have these paper things that you just toss them away. Laziness, convenience.
Oh, the rest of you are going to kill me. You're killing me.
Yeah.
I recycle like a crazy person. I do. I got my garbage that, that's not recyclable down to it doesn't even, I don't even use a garbage can. It's just not in a little for the week. Because the city recycles everything.
But do they really? I remember one time at the museum, we went into this, one of our staff members was quite intense about it. So I said, all right, go with it. And it turned out that when they would pick up these things, we watched them once or twice, and all of them was
going in the same thing.
I said,
I saw that happen once too. But
I mean, it makes you feel good on the one hand.
Yeah, but I think some of it gets to the right
place.
There
are some places where they're very diligent about the separation of various materials.
Right. Well, they're not asking us to separate anymore. You just throw cans and glass and papers and, all paper. I mean, office paper and phone books and even books, all of that into the same thing. There's very little that is not recycled. I mean,
Right.
when I think of what goes into my garbage now, it's next to nothing. It's just like if I get something and it's in a styrofoam thing, styrofoam is not recyclable. That's a bad thing.
Right.
That should be verboten. But what else? Next to nothing.
Yeah.
My cat's puke, and that could go down the
We
down
don't
the
want to
disposal.
hear about cat sick.
Well, listen, because I live with this. This poor cat vomits
dear.
constantly, and I had finally got all my tax stuff together the other day.
Oh dear, and don't tell us.
Yeah, I guess I've
The
sort of flagged.
punchline. Yeah.
And I had this stack of all my papers and all this stuff. I left them on the dining room table, and when I came down in the morning,
Well, maybe that's why you should send
there
it to
wasn't-
Uncle Sam.
I know.
And say,
I should have
this
taken.
is my comment.
Damn it! Why didn't I take a picture? Oh, damn! It was like, it was a perfect metaphor.
Well, now,
It was
why
this
aren't you a good
huge-
cat owner and take this cat to the vet?
Because, well, it'll go.
You want to suffer? Are you one of those?
No, but this cat has been like this forever. This cat thinks this is the way you live. You eat really fast and then you puke.
Oh, I see.
And then you eat really fast again and then you puke some more.
Maybe
and
you
I
have a
think this
bulimic cat.
No, and I think this cat has some kind of a problem because this cat has terrible halitosis. And I don't think cats generally have bad breath. Think about that.
One of mine does.
One of yours does?
I haven't spent
One
my
doesn't.
life sticking my nose in a cat's mouth.
Well, and
Dogs do,
it
but-
does weird things with its tongue, like. So I think it just has trouble. It's got some kind
It
of.
sounds like
it has
it, yeah.
some kind of congenital problem, I think. But if I bring it to the vet, sure, it'll turn out they can fix it for some surgery.
$7,000.
It's ridiculous. It is a cat.
No, it's true.
The cat is living in my house and with much love and attention.
Oh, no, but we're going to get
I'll be
lots
damned.
of letters about that. Just like there's, I must admit, we've talked about this a little bit before, but, post Rocco, the police dog, for
Give me a
number
break, I
one,
know.
there was who was going to pay the veterinary hospital bill for Rocco. He's like saying, can't they suck it up? So then I think, the Roethlisberger Foundation, I think, was to pay for a new Rocco.
Yeah, because that's what they do, right?
No, I thought they were more.
No. The Roethlisberger does. He gives
Animals?
Police dogs.
Oh, that's
what he
Rocco?
does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was okay. But so I was behind a car the other day that had a
bumper sticker.
Yeah, Rocco with a and I thought, come on. And then today I was behind a car with a bumper sticker. This is the bumper sticker. Not circumcised, lucky stiff.
What?
Yes. Not circumcised, lucky stiff. I wanted to run into its bumper. I really did. I wanted to say, why would you? What is, of all the things to get yourself all hot and bothered about in the world, and then to advertise to the rest of the world that you care about it? No, there's people now.
Well, I know, but this bumper sticker was not exactly.
Well, it was meant to be funny, but you can bet whoever put it on their car is one of these anti-circumcision activists now. They're all over the place.
Well, but on the other side, yes, that's true. And there is some medical logic that it desensitizes
Such
pleasure.
bullshit. There are so many. That is so testable, since there are men who have had sex before and after a circumcision.
Okay, well.
And bullshit.
But the one thing where it's definitely going the other direction is in Africa, where they found out that circumcised men
don't get AIDS as quickly.
Right. And there have been huge lines of people, even in huts in the deepest, darkest of Africa, and if that isn't a Victorian term, lining up to be circumcised. So it just depends about where in civilization or lack thereof.
Right. Lynn and Tom, my office uses a K machine, a Keurig. You can brew 1 cup at a time. The waste is atrocious. They are now a fad among the middle class. No, that's not the middle class. That'd be the upper middle class, because the middle class can't afford this kind of shit.
We have it upstairs.
You have one upstairs at City Paper?
We have an espresso machine, too.
You have an espresso machine at City Paper? Is that...
They were donated by people.
Donated by people.
Carlo.
Okay, all right. When I visit my mother and other relatives, we can only make 1 cup at a time. What is that ridiculous? Instead of a pot of coffee, because this is part of the latest must-have. They actually got rid, your parents did, of an expensive fancy coffee pot so they could have a Keurig like the Joneses. This is sick. And now this is sick. Next time you're at your mom's, take her Keurig.
And throw it out the window.
No, do a little science experiment. Take her Keurig up to the roof.
And a feather.
And a feather, whatever other. And just do a little...
And then maybe throw your mother along with the feather and the Keurig.
Exactly. Melanie writes, I take my recyclables to Construction Junction, and we were told by the pickup people there that you do not need to separate them anymore. The signs on the bins, cardboard, glass, are old and not needed now. That is true. So
meaning you can mulch all those things, cardboard, glass, etc., plastic, and they still will be used for recycling?
No, there must be someone has invented some process where
Once
you can
the muck
dump,
is then
you can
melted
dump
and then
a dumpster full of
I
all
see.
these different
Well,
things.
that makes sense.
And it will, I'm sure, not with any humans, maybe sort it.
Once it's mulched and it'll pour.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's
that's good.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Oops.
Oh, caller.
Hello, caller.
Hello, Lynn.
Hi.
It's not often you don't know something, but I have to decide. I'm going to speak up for some of the K-Cup people. I actually have one.
Okay.
And for me, I used to make a whole pot of coffee. And think about the resources that I used to make a whole pot, and I only would drink 1 cup. And I used the coffee grind, obviously. I used the coffee liner. And think about how many other people, older people, couples that was doing the same thing that I was doing, and was making a whole pot every day. And now we all have to make 1 cup. So I mean, there's always 2 sides to the story, and I just want to present that angle as well.
Thank you. In defense of your Keurig.
Well, I think obviously,
and it does make sense. Like you could have one, right?
Well, the point, I guess, what we're making is not about Keurig, because there's Nespresso, there's all these other machines. I think it's basically though how we all have gotten to the point of what is the most
convenient is all.
Oh yeah. And then the trendy caboose to that.
But he's actually saying for him, it makes less waste. Sure. Because he only needs 1 cup.
The filter and all the grounds, and to a certain extent, that extra water when let's say you do it. I know sometimes my old machine, I do 5 cups of coffee, and I wouldn't drink all 5, so I then spill it out. So that's waste.
You should all take after me. I don't drink coffee.
That's un-American.
I don't even know how to make it.
Oh, please.
Stop.
And we have a barista in our midst.
No, when people come to my house and they want coffee, they have to make it themselves. I do have a drip. I have a drip thing.
Okay. Well, what do you drink? Tea?
No.
Hot water?
No.
Wine.
Wine with your bran flakes.
I do. Oh, I don't know. Listen, we've got to take another
break.
Yes.
All right.
In fact, we do. We're right on time now. Quickly back.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen live after this.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual music guide is available now. Pick up one today for a look at music education in city schools. Gary Newman, Ted Pappas, and Hart. Plus, don't miss your chance to win cash in our bracket contest. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, your smartphone at citypapermobile.com, and at the iPhone App Store and Google Play.
Check out my new time machine.
Does it work?
Hit the button.
Hey, it's Napoleon.
Oui. Check out the future.
Hey, you have a nice house. Why don't I?
You didn't save any money, buddy.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and fix that.
Yeah.
Save something for the future. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Well, speaking about, crazy Americans and all our gizmos and gadgets, there was this huge expo, the Pet Expo, and today's papers were full of stuff about things. The New York Times business section talks about all these startup companies going after some of the money of all of the crazed pet owners in the United States now. People with no children who have made their animals into children.
Beneficiaries and whatever.
And
so take your dog poop and to make it into diamond material.
Well, some of it is so. It's just so. Listen to this. Here is an automated feeder with a lid containing 6, no less, rotating trays for wet and dry food, for treats, and even for medication. It can be controlled by your smartphone. So right now I can decide to give Fluffy her meds, and I can control which dish rotates and opens up, and then the thing has a webcam on it
to see if the pet
the animal is in fact doing it, and there's something called pet chats that you put on in a power outlet, and it has a speaker, a webcam, an LCD screen, and scent and treat dispensers, as well as sound and motion sensors. And through an app on a phone or a tablet or a computer, pet owners can use pet chats to actually summon their pets, to see them, to talk to them, and to dispense a treat or a scent. What do you mean?
Well, maybe let's say if you wear Chanel No. 5 and you're on a business trip, maybe it squirts Chanel No. 5 and your pet believes you're there.
Yes, right. It's like multi-sensory Skyping.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, there was just something in the newspaper the other day about something akin to this, and they said, like if the dog is chewing the chair, which it's wont to do, you can program your voice to say, "No, Pukey, no." But it made the point that
the dog doesn't.
Well, that was it. This dog said, unless it saw the person.
Yeah, they're not.
It just
dogs
slept.
Aren't stupid. Dogs quickly learn with the pet chat that they need only walk or bark near it to call their owners, who are then alerted that the dog wants to talk to them by their app. And again, I just want to say what I said when we were talking about Bunny Mellon's millions. There are children in this country without enough to eat. In this country. Almost 1 out of every 4 children in America is living in poverty.
Yeah, no.
This is for lazy friggin' pet owners. Listen to this, no dog likes anything better than, you throw the ball, they go get the ball, they bring it back, drop it at your feet, or insist that you pry it from there, and then you throw it again. Well, now we have something called the iFetch. It is an motorized toy with a funnel on the top, where the dog learns to put a ball in the funnel, and then the ball is shot out by it, and the dog runs and gets the ball, runs back and sticks it in.
So the funnel is like a surrogate.
The funnel does all the work for you. The dog gets exercise, and you don't have to pick up the slobber-filled, slobber-coated ball. And it is amazing how many gizmos are all about slobber. It is, you could go nuts.
Well, you should find out. You should have been there to see if they have an anti-cat cat puke machine. Well, you know what's interesting? I was thinking, what has been our theme today? And our theme, I think, from Bunny Mellon is really been about ephemera. All people who are on one level or another not dealing with life, but dealing with the ephemera. A very rich person who can leave her cabbage terrine to someone. Oops, I'm sorry. A break your tooth machine. Someone who, because they're on a business trip, wants to have the ball thrower to their dog so as if the dog isn't, exercised for 2 days, it's going to die. To the Nespresso machine. It's all about ephemera. I always remember as a kid when I wasn't drinking coffee, but I just remember my mother had, as everyone did, a percolator. That's how you made coffee. Oh, yeah, percolators. And percolators, even to this day, because I forgot where I stayed and they had a percolator.
Do they make better coffee?
Well, not better coffee, but the smell of it going chicka, 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 and that smell. And I remember waking up to the smell of coffee, even though when I tasted it, I hated it. But that was none of these things, they're so hygienic. I always remember Evelyn Raw wrote this book about the funerary.
Yes, funeral.
And there was this fun place called the Lake Isle of Innisfree, where you could go and be buried there. And there was all sorts of buzzing and butterflies, and it said, the sound and smell of nature and no sore fannies.
You're dead!
What?
What? You said
the people coming to visit the dead. Well, but you could be bring someone back to life, I guess.
All right, reincarnated. Okay. Barbara writes this. The New York Times did a more comprehensive analysis of the actual price of a single brew coffee and determined that the single brew ends up costing more than $50 a pound, even for standard brands like Folgers, compared to the less than $20 you can expect to pay for a bag of roasted beans. Call me a cheapskate, but I'll stick to freshly ground coffee that doesn't require a bulky brewer and billions of plastic pods. Okay. And on the subject of cat puke, David writes, cats puke all the time from cleaning their butts. At least mine do. Wouldn't you?
Now that's a question I wish Bunny Mellon were alive to comment upon. There is some logic. That was the most logical thing that someone had sent us today.
Jeez! Well, that didn't sound good.
Well, after that cat licking its anus, what could one do but choke up one's breakfast?
Oh, there was this horrible woman who won the Republican primary in a congressional district in
runoff sort of thing?
Suburban Chicago or something. And her name is Atanus, Atanus. But somebody has decided, because she's a nutcase, she's a homophobic, insane person.
Oh, lovely. How nice.
And so somebody has made, I don't think it's her thing, the @ sign, and it says @anus. That's her name.
@anus.
@anus, which I thought was a wonderful little thing.
Oh dear, Margaret writes, I guess this is related to the cat thing. Man, we need to clean their penises better.
No, I think it's related to the circumcision.
Oh, the circumcision.
Will you? Jesus
God. Ridiculous show. Now someone should call in from Handy White, saying that would take care of everything. The cat puke, the cat licking, the circumcision.
Well, I'm glad Tom's having a good time.
Ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Ephemera. I was right.
Ephemera, you were right.
Ephemera.
Excuse us.
Listen, it's the audience prompting us. This is not... Who was the one guy who, whenever he would do it, was it Johnny Carson? I'm not making this up,
I don't know. Geez, we're having so much fun. I guess we shouldn't bring up suicide.
Oh, yes, do.
No.
Oh, yes, do.
Okay. Well, we're all ephemeral, so suicide fits into the general
We're all
topic.
mortal.
Well, this is actually a legal little tidbit
okay.
I garnered from the Wall Street Journal today. I didn't see it anywhere else. But the Minnesota Supreme Court has decided that encouraging someone to commit suicide is not a crime, and it is, in fact, protected First Amendment speech.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, that's, particularly interesting in terms of these cases, particularly of teenage girls, where they
people
were
are saying,
bullied
why don't you go kill yourself?
electronically.
Yeah.
And I know there have been a couple of cases.
Well, they're
where
saying that this
been...
isn't this okay. But so listen to the case that this came out of.
Okay.
William Francis Melchert Dinkle. Good God in heaven.
Maybe we should introduce him to @Anus.
No wonder he wanted to
great.
kill himself.
Yeah.
Well, this guy was a nurse.
Okay.
Who's obviously a nutcase. He posed online. Maybe he just posed online as a suicidal female nurse.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And he built bonds with other people on the internet who were suicidal. So you can bet that there are, the internet. You're suicidal, you can find other suicidal people. And two of those people, one in England named Mark Drybrough, and one in Canada named Nadia Kajuji, and he pressed them both to kill themselves and to let him watch on a webcam.
Oh, awful. And they did?
They did. She didn't do it in front of him. She jumped off a bridge. She was 19 years old. The Brit was 32, and he did follow this guy's instructions. He hung himself in his bedroom.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so this guy was found guilty by a lower court under a Minnesota law that made it illegal to advise, encourage, or assist in a suicide. And this goes to the Minnesota Supreme Court, and they said, advising or encouraging suicide is really free. That's a speech issue. So...
Well, what about my question would be?
I don't know. I don't know that I agree with it. Who the hell knows?
Well, but the point is, I'm not a lawyer, but the question would be, sure, I can just say, Lynn, go kill yourself. But if I know that you are someone who has a penchant, but not to be silly about it, a penchant for suicide, and who is vulnerable to this, I mean, I can't believe that wouldn't be illegal. I mean, that would be like giving a child, a gun.
Mm-hmm. Well,
who thinks it's just some sort of toy or something. That has to be irresponsible and maybe not doesn't merit the death penalty, but some sort of recklessness.
It would seem so, that he should be guilty of something.
Yeah. And to me, if you were on the Off Me website of people who are interested in suicide, I mean, that would suggest some sort of penchant for suicide, so that would make you vulnerable. I don't know, that sounds
right. He went after vulnerable people,
Yeah,
posed as one of them, although he wasn't. What he really was was a
nasty,
repulsive weirdo who wanted to watch people kill themselves.
I don't see him calling Rich Fitzgerald and saying, hey, you want to off yourself.
Why did you bring up
I don't know. I just thought of a pillar of something. I don't know what, but he's a pillar.
Okay, now I know this is something you don't do. You aren't involved in at all. March Madness.
Oh, no. Oh, I do know Obama picked teams, so I know what it is. But
do you know what team he picked? He picked the same ones that won last year.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes some sense.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely in the hunt. University of Louisville, I think he picked.
Oh, okay.
Other people might pick other things, like, let's see, Michigan State, Florida.
Oh, I have no idea.
Wichita State.
Well, you picked the
Did
ones
you fill
that are
out
the
a
best.
bracket? because it starts today. I have not filled out my bracket. I'm going to do it after the show. I have a thing to go to, and I know I'll
brackets,
be bored.
does that just mean for...
That means that, like, you look at all the... Yeah, you decide who's going to win each game.
Money? Is it for
I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it...
Favorite color?
I'm just doing it...
What?
By the team colors.
Okay, well, here's
you're
another...
such a girl.
I'm just saying, here's another way to do it.
Put that in your pitch.
Again, the Wall Street Journal came up with a alumni bracket. So what you can do...
The Wall Street Journal, the paper of record for business, has given a double spread to this stupidity.
The alumni bracket.
Which
it tells you...
owners of teams are the only ones making zillions
So
of
where
dollars.
did you go? Where did you get your degree?
University of Chicago.
Well, there's no way they're in that.
We only had a team. We didn't have No, we'd have a team. They called it a club.
I know.
The football club.
I know. That was a good school for you.
It was a very good school, yeah.
So, no, so they don't have... what they've done is they've given every school in the hunt... they list some prominent alums that they have.
Oh, not the players. Yeah, because I see a lot of people in there. Yeah.
And so I wanted to see who they put for Pitt. Pitt plays Colorado.
So now, wait. Every college team in America that's part of one of the leagues or whatever
No, you have to be invited
this?
to this.
Oh, I see.
You have to prove yourself.
Although, wasn't there just something about this, because I thought this was interesting, that Harvard now, for the first time, has a very, very good basketball team?
Harvard has, I remember once
No, but this
Harvard
is just
being,
recently this coach has made them really a top contender.
So here's who they put for Pitt alums. I don't know who you would pick.
I have no idea.
But I was a little surprised by some of this. They've picked Gene Kelly, Fred Rogers, August Wilson, and I didn't know he went to Pitt.
Who, August Wilson?
Yeah.
Neither did I.
I'm not sure he did.
Well, I'm sure they have fact checkers, but...
John Irving. Didn't know he went to Pitt.
Pennsylvania.
And then listen to our number 5. They give everybody 5. Rick Santorum.
Oh, yippee-yow-ki-yay, yes.
Couldn't we have done better than that?
Can we imagine all those people on the team?
Well, listen
Santorum's tall.
Okay, so here's the problem. They're playing Colorado, who definitely have a better lineup of alums. No, alums.
Alums.
You want to hear who they have, Colorado?
Yes.
Robert Redford, Trey Parker, and Matt Stone.
Who are
both?
South Park.
They're creators of South Park.
Okay, I know what South Park is.
Steve Wozniak.
Computers, right?
Co-founder of Apple.
Apple, yeah, okay.
Dalton Trumbo.
Oh.
2-time Oscar-winning screenwriter.
And blacklisted one. That was
yes, and he was blacklisted. And, Lynn Cheney, the horrible wife of...
I was once on a panel with her years ago.
Well, listen to
and
this.
we screamed at one another.
Did you?
Oh,
good.
she was so
I would too.
mean.
But so speaking of the Cheneys, this freaked me out because Wisconsin, which I did graduate from Wisconsin. I went to Northwestern and a bunch of other places and then finally got a degree from Wisconsin. And Wisconsin's they're a number 2 seed. Yay, go Badgers! And they're alums, and here's one that just blew my mind. Dick Cheney graduated from Wisconsin?
But that's where you met the bitch.
No, she was at Colorado.
That's right. Oh,
but Wisconsin also got Frank Lloyd Wright, Charles Lindbergh, Saul Bellow, and John Muir.
Who's John Muir?
What? He was like the original environmentalist.
Oh, okay. How do you spell it?
M-U-I-R.
Oh.
What's your favorite? Anybody else want to know some? Okay, so who's supposed to win it all? Gonzaga. Did you ever hear of Gonzaga?
Yes.
The only reason I know Gonzaga is because of the NCAA tournament. So where is it? Do you have any idea where Gonzaga is? I have no idea.
Pennsylvania?
I don't think. It just exists to me as a basketball team. Gonzaga is always in the hunt.
Okay.
But they got Bing Crosby. Who knew he went to college?
Who cares? But
and then they don't have many others. Not very impressive. So some of them really have to reach.
Well, but I mean, none of these people had anything to do with sport.
No, but it's just...
Well, now, is Harvard listed? I'd be curious who they picked out for Harvard. For
who?
Harvard, who they would say is 5 top alumni from Harvard.
Is Harvard on here? Did they get into the NCAA this year?
I think that was this piece.
Oh, I see. So they did. Well, Harvard, I mean, that they have riches.
Oh, Kennedy,
They
of
just
course.
did presidents. Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, John Adams, and Bill Gates. I thought Gates
Not
never
bad.
went to college.
I guess he did.
I thought...
Well, now, what's interesting
Maybe he
is
didn't graduate.
they don't...
He dropped out.
Some of these, I don't think...
Well,
like, I
how can
wonder
you
if
call them
August
alums
Wilson-
if they dropped out? I think
Oh, that's
in order
right.
to be an alum, you have
You have to graduate.
I think so.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or not. So are we done?
You are, yeah.
Oh, more than done. Margaret looked up at Anus, and she says, that woman looks gayer than hell. She looks frightening.
Oh,
And she needs, no, she doesn't have the picture.
Oh.
And I've seen her picture too. And she needs Rogaine. Well, she does.
A bald, gay congresswoman.
Homophobic. No, she's homophobic
from Illinois.
beyond belief. So she's one of those classic, probably, whatever. What a
No man would touch her.
What a screwed up cookie. All right.
Margaret, you're back on target.
All right.
Great to have you.
I think we're...
Our show of ephemera. Things that are not important, but always titillate.
Well, and both of those former SAT words are no longer there.
Right, so
We
this-
got rid of all those words like titillate,
yeah, right.
ephemera.
But tits still.
I saw it. It's unbelievable. People are just going to be, you know what? It's going to come full circle, and we're going to be grunting at each other like...
Not true. Not true. I did both of those words before I took the SATs.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but you won't anymore. People are getting...
Read.
Oh.
They will read.
Well,
on their
increasingly.
Kindles, but they will
Thank
read.
you, Jess. Jess, you got to listen to these young ones because my
Yeah.
son would have
I
said
have
the
to
same.
say, there's
What?
a movie coming up, which I've seen the trailer for twice, called Spelling Bee, or some title such as that. And it's about an older guy, well, man, in his 40s, who goes to spelling bees and somehow fights to get children spelling
To
bees.
be in one.
But he has the foulest mouth, and at least the trailer is hilarious beyond belief. Justin or Jason Bateman,
Yeah.
who usually plays, I think he was like a Born Again something or other.
No.
In real life. Yes,
He was.
yes.
What?
He was in these and was a producer of some of these Born Again.
Jason Bateman?
I think so.
No way.
Cameron, maybe.
Oh, maybe that's who I'm thinking.
What?
They look the same.
Cameron.
Yes,
They
I
don't
think.
look the
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
they do.
Wow.
Wow.
Jason Bateman is like Arrested Development. Did you ever see?
Oh, is that the same person?
Yeah.
Kirk Cameron is probably who you're thinking.
No,
Oh
it's
my
not,
God!
definitely
All
not
right,
Cameron, but
I'm
anyway.
ending the
Go
show.
and see
These
this
two are going to
movie.
keep talking, but we're done. We are so.
Ephemera,
Oh, and by the
ephemera
way,
forever.
Chris Potter has already stood me up for tomorrow. It turns out he said, "Oh, Lynn, I won't." Here, I'll get it. This is too funny. Wait, you got to see. Wait. You got to see the reason he's telling us he won't be able to join us. Hang on. No.
Oh.
Almost certainly will not be able to make it Friday. There are petition challenges. I need to be on hand for. And I wrote back, thanks. God knows nothing like a petition challenge to get a great reporter champing at the bit.
Well, you don't know what the petitions are for.
Well, it's for some stupid election, some candidate. Somebody says, so-and-so, some of those people who signed so-and-so's
dead.
petitions are dead. That is the most boring, never goes anywhere story in the universe. And he has said to us, I'd rather do petition challenges than spend any time with you.
We love
And
you,
I
Chris.
never heard back from him when I sent him my response because I'm sure he looked at it and thought, well. So there's a little bit of tension, I think, there. So tomorrow, Potter will be eagerly salivating, waiting to see what names were challenged on what candidates' petitions. And you and I will be having fun.
I think you should send
right
him
here.
a real big eraser so he can erase all the people who are dead.
Nonsense. Okay.
Goodbye.
Toodaloo. Happy spring.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.